So wealth, for a long time, growing up with not much means, meant money. So my strive from very early in my life was money. So I would say up to about 13 years ago, 12 years ago, I would have said one-dimensional wealth is a hell of a lot of money. And I would have also used that money in service of myself and buy myself all the beautiful things I want. But I know fundamentally today that wealth is far, far broader. The monetary aspect is one aspect thereof. I might have learned the bookwork or the book sort of philosophy overseas at a workshop I attended in 2013, but I think I was then already about 6 years into a journey of living my life according to a different set of wealth values. So wealth for me is number one, spiritual wealth. So being in tune with myself, knowing why I exist, striving every day to live towards that purpose for my life, that is a form of wealth. My health is a huge form of wealth. Family, my craft. So there's all these aspects. So wealth is for me is just so much far broader than just money. But I'm very clear that money plays a big function in all those aspects. You know, like spiritual self-development comes at the cost of money. And hence money for me is a very noble thing. I often say money is the root of all good if it's in the right hands. You know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I've got a lot of empathy. I bought expensive cars before I could afford it in order to look wealthy or rich. So I can get that materialistic aspect, because when you grow up, and my little means is nothing to the comparison of the majority of our country that's got nothing. But having not a lot, my aspiration was always to have money and to have the beautiful things that are associated with money, and chasing that money and thinking it's going to bring happiness. And the interesting thing was, after I started working at the age of 11, earning my own income, which was very liberating. And I could have the things that my friends had because I worked for it. When I got into the big world, and even with my own business, consciously I was chasing money. And I think the turning point came in 2006, losing half our business, and realizing that I've still got nothing after all the years of being really good at what I do and working exceptionally hard. I went through a personal transformation because of everything in my life that was falling apart. And I had an insight that the way life should work is being in service of others. And when you are authentically in service of others, it seems naturally things start coming back into your life. Now, it sounds very esoteric and could be perceived as like a hippie's way, but it's been my fundamental experience for the past 13 years. So the subtle shift was I went more into service of others, and the byproduct naturally became money flowed into my life. And that turning point, unfortunately, had to come because of a huge amount of things in my life that was falling apart. And I so wish people can change without having to hit rock bottom. But it seems as humans, we only change when we can't but change. I mean, there's a beautiful, I don't know if you've read Phil Knight's book, Shoe Dog, which is profoundly beautifully written. And I think I'm just so conscious of this concept that I saw it towards the end of the book, where he says, we all understand that blood flows through our veins, and if it doesn't flow, we'll die. But if you ask me, why do I exist? I don't say to make blood. And it's to me the same for business. We understand that money is the lifeblood of business, but we don't wake up every morning to make blood. There's a higher purpose to our businesses as there's a higher purpose to our lives. And that was the shift in my life. So I still understood that my objective was to have a lot of wealth in my life. But the reason for wanting that money was not in service of myself anymore. I wanted to do more and almost manifest more in my life and contribute more to society. And I think with that way of being, more money is over time flowing naturally into my space. I find what's driven me for a long time has been fear. Because as your business grow in value, even on paper, There's a fear attached to it because a loss is so much more fundamental. But so even with my consciousness, there was still an aspect of fear. And literally, I think about 2 years ago, I had a breakthrough where I started feeling that I'm stepping out of the fear, the push of fear, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's what keeps us alive. But I started stepping out of that push of fear into this pull of going towards a greater vision, which is still a transformative period that I'm in. But I would say that if I had to experience that loss again of financial wealth, I do not think it will change my opinion of the importance of the other aspects of wealth. I might lose in 1/8 area of wealth in my life, which is why I'm so grateful just for my health and for the spiritual journey in my family. And I see that value. I mean, even my house at the Vaal, which is completely overcapitalized, I'll never get that money back. But what value do you put on the weekend with your family and that special time? What rand value can you put on that? So I always smile when people speak about appreciation of asset, and it's because you don't calculate in that value. I'm quite resolute in this belief, and knowing what I know, that you can come from pretty much zero to a really good place in 10 years, will make me feel quite safe of what I can achieve in the next decade. There's always people. I mean, I don't think anything happens just by myself. I mean, even ideas and thoughts, I'm becoming more aware that they all interlinked. I would say fundamentally the shift started with the business shaking, because I was defined by the business, gave me confidence just outwardly. But the shift also came because my relationship with my wife started failing and my health started failing. So there were like all these different things. And then the wealth aspect was failing. The fact that I wasn't manifesting money. So there are lots of things in my personal life that sent me on a journey. But the various things that touched it, I mean, there's like, I did a transformational workshop in Midrand, which was profound, absolutely profound. I did journey work with a local practitioner called Lydia Hoyland, which was profound. I mean, Brandon Bay's work is profound. I did thinking practitioning. This is Nancy Klein's work. Interesting, a lot of females methodology. So also coming more in touch with more my feminine side. So all those various things, and then I engage at one stage through this growth journey. I went to Robin Sharma workshop in Toronto before I had money to be able to afford to go there. But my mind said I need to go there, and then the money somehow happened. So many different people. I mean, it's difficult to call him a mentor, but I've got a man who supports my long-term objective. But I think the world's devoid of leadership. I mean, I can't think of many leaders I look up towards. Probably like Nelson Mandela and Jesus Christ, in no particular order. Wealth is definitely not an enabler of happiness. I've met too many very, very wealthy people who are not happy. And there's various other forms. You know, like I can tell you now that I know for a fact that my wife and my child's more important than all the billions in the world. And if I had to exchange billions of rands for their health and safety, I will do it in a blink. So there's no way. And I think too many people have chased wealth and then found that it doesn't make happiness. Happiness to me is defining or finding your deeper purpose in life and then practicing living it. Because I find every time that I do practice and I'm on purpose, I am far more happier. And happiness is not necessarily walking around with a smile on your face. It's being content within yourself. And maybe it's easy to say because I've got a fair amount of access to money and capital now. But I felt this way because when my turning point happened, that was 2 years before even going bankrupt. So from finding purpose to my life, I first went bankrupt. So I know what it's like to have nothing, no furniture, no food to eat for at least 12 months of my life before digging ourselves out of that. And in that space, I was still happy because I had a greater meaning to my life. So right now, I would say I'm at the beginning curve of accumulating wealth. I spent quite a fair amount of money setting up, probably overinvested in lifestyle in terms of just creating spaces for myself and my family, be it holiday space or even our personal space where we live in. Because we spend so little time together, I wanted those spaces to be special. And all I need to get to for myself is to be self-sustainable without income. And when you go and do the maths on that over the long term, it's frightening to see how few South Africans are actually positioned to do that. And that's not because I have got huge ambitions of retirement. It's because I need to go and work in a space where I might not be able to earn the income that I earn today. So for me, it's to build the wealth that I need not to work for income. Although at the moment I am trying to figure out how can I sustain that income, just because I feel that there's a value exchange. I don't believe anymore. There was a time when I believed I should just be working out of the goodness of my heart. I still believe I'm going to add value to our country, I need to be remunerated, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that it doesn't eat into my own capital. But I'm definitely very aware now of the next 25 years and the importance to have sustainable amount of cash to sustain my personal vision. I'm a creative being, and I've got 30 years experience in the field of advertising and communication. So I can feel I'm getting to a position now that I actually know what I'm doing, although often I feel I don't know what I'm doing at all. But at least I know a lot more about this field that I'm in than most, because of my experience and because of my passion, and I'm good at it. But I also know that it's a stepping stone to get to where I can add my creative value, which is education in our country. I mean, I've been working as a side hustle in education now for 12 years with 2 township schools, and the reality on the ground is absolutely shocking. And I feel absolutely compelled to play a role in how to make it better. So I always think scalable. I don't think it's wrong to help just one school, but I don't think one school is good enough. I think there's 22,000 schools that needs to be uplifted in this country, and you need quite an obsessive personality to make that level of difference. And I'd like to believe I've got that obsession. So at some stage I need to make this move, and that's what I'm working towards. My son's 11. We've got a craft market on Joe Public's roof on Friday. So he decided he wants to participate. His mother's a goldsmith, so he started making beaded jewelry, and he's been working his butt off for the past month. And he's been calculating his hours, and he's been writing down what the stock cost, and they've been working out what he can charge for each of these. Like a real little entrepreneur thing happening with this youngster who's in Waldorf. So fascinating. He might not be fantastically good at English written word, but he can do his maths brilliantly and turning out to be a little entrepreneur. And this morning on the way to school, I asked him, but what is the purpose of your business? And he didn't really know how to answer. I said, just in one word. What one word is the purpose of your business? And he said, joy. And I said to him, well, explain to me what that means. And he said, verbatim, unprompted, I was blown away. I phoned his mother. He said, to inspire people through joyful jewelry. So I said to him, well, boy, when you sell your jewelry on Friday, that's what the story you tell people, because then the money will naturally come as a byproduct. And I thought, geez, if more CEOs were that clear on why their businesses exist. So I would say for entrepreneurs, my best advice will be seek to find the greater purpose beyond money for your business right at the outset, just to bring it out of your unconscious, because it's there. You know it's there, but you don't know what it is. So there is something there. Just seek to bring it out and verbalize it and make that your strategy. And that's been the turning point for our business for the past decade. And it's the best advice I can give.